Hello, hello.
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hello.
Okay, I want to do some echo tests here.
All good.
Trying again.
It sounds like we are doing good. I apologize. We had to reschedule for, half hour later, but as everyone saw, there was an echo. So
Major echo.
We had to fix that, and there's no echo now, so we're good to go. So round 2. Here we go.
All right, let's try it.
Powertribe from the
Hey.
West Coast. How are you guys?
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Fantastic.
I am good. I'm good. How are you, Darren?
Hey, been excellent. Thank you.
We're good. Very, very good.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. Sunday Fun Day, always with the Savages. And you never know what the hell's going to happen on my podcast. It pretty much goes left often. So it's entertaining sometimes.
Got to keep it interesting.
Yeah. Something's always happening on my show. So, but again, thank you so much for being here, you guys. Marla tried to join us, but there's connection issues on her end, as usual. There's like something always happening with Facebook. But if she sends any comments or questions, I will be sure to put that up for you guys to see and answer for her.
Right on.
So you guys, thank you again for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Talk a little about who you guys are, what you play.
Okay, who's going first? Me? I'll go.
Yeah.
All right, I'm Missy, and I play the tambourine. No, I'm just joking. I play bass, and I'm the vocalist, and I play some keys, and I just dance and have fun. That's me.
Awesome.
I'm John. I'm the drummer. I think that's about it. I don't play tambourine.
I'm Darren. I do guitars.
Well, and nobody plays tambourine, so that's a goal we have for the band, right? All right.
I don't recall ever having tambourine on a track. I'm trying to think, and I'm pretty sure we've never had tambourine on a track.
You know what? If they can bring cowbells, why not? I'm just saying.
Never have too much cowbell.
Yeah, right?
But you can't have too much tambourine. So let's just establish that now.
Dude, that's funny. Just, why not? She dances.
I dance.
Get the tambourine going. She's smacking around. She can smack her butt with
but
it.
Missy, can you play the keyboard, the bass, and the tambourine at the same time? That's
No,
what we gotta
no.
work on.
Now that's
But
talent.
I do play the keys like this, and I'll play the bass. So I've done a combination of the two.
While singing.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, while singing. Yeah.
Seriously, live.
That's awesome.
Honestly.
So how many instruments do you play?
Well, I also play violin. And I can play a little bit of flute, and that's it. I don't do any brass instruments or anything like that.
That's a few different instruments you play. That's pretty good. I mean, you're playing bass while you're doing keyboards and singing at the same time.
Yeah, well, we really try to design the parts so that I can do something, with my left hand and do something with my right hand. All the parts are really thought out and designed, and Darren does most of that, like trying to come up with things that's going to be easier for me to be able to do both while trying to sing like a totally different syncopated line or something. But that's the thing. I've been playing keyboards most of my life, so I'm used to the left hand, right hand, the independence. So I enjoy doing that.
Yeah, I'm not ambidextrous like that. Just like patting my head and rubbing my stomach. It's not going to happen for me. So, what about you guys? You guys play other instruments besides guitars and drums, or as John said, that's it?
No, I'm a recording engineer, so I like kind of sitting on that side of the glass every once in a while too. So between drumming on one side and engineering on the other side, I guess I don't know if I call that another instrument, but that's my other little device with sound. So
okay.
I play a little bass. I play little keyboards, but definitely focus on guitar.
And he does recording too. He actually does a lot of that as well, but not to the point that John does. I'm a
wannabe.
And I try to create videos. Like that's some of the stuff that I get into, a little bit of the marketing, designing. Oh, wait. Hey, I see Marla.
Yeah, that's Marla's. Again, like I said, Marla couldn't log in. There was connection issues for her. So she's just going to be throwing those comments up there.
Awesome. Hey, Marla.
We're going to see all her emotions on this show. So you guys are from the West Coast now. Technically, you guys are from LA, right?
Mhm.
But
Yes.
some of you are in Colorado.
Yes.
Go ahead, Missy. Why don't you tell her? Why don't you tell her that story? You can probably explain it better than me.
Me or
Yeah.
Darren?
Okay. Either.
Basically, we were in LA. We all knew each other there, had the band. We're doing a lot of performances. And then Darren and we now live in a small little town in Colorado, about 9,318 feet elevation. And we're isolated in a little town, maybe of, I don't know, 400, 500 people. And there's not even a stop sign. Stoplight. There's not even a stoplight in this town. But we live there. We live here in this town. I'm not gonna say where exactly, but
You don't have to say where. It's okay.
It's up in the mountains. We moved towards this area, and then we've been actually going to LA and doing our videos there or shows there. And we're still being a band that way, also on, videos and internet and stuff like that. But just we're not physically living there in LA right now at this point.
So what was that change like, going from the LA lifestyle to being desolate? What's that like?
It's really weird because, LA, most of my friends, they were like on coke and things are fast.
Yeah,
everything's really super fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, there's deadlines and there's like, you got to meet these, then coming here and everyone smokes pot. And so it's really slow. Everything just felt slower. Like everything felt slow. And I had to really just, try to just take a totally different tempo. I mean, I'd be trying to go down one of these dirt roads with my high heels on, like platforms, and it just was not working. So I've had to adjust. It was a major adjustment for me.
Right.
Literally, it took me like a couple years to try to adjust. Everything is slow. And the music is like, there's one brass band here, like a town brass band. And then there's just like Celtic, maybe folk. They don't like metal. There's no real rock. There might be some jam bands, country. But there's really no bands in this town. They don't really, I'm kind of lonely. It's kind of lonely.
So lo and behold, I have not flown out to Colorado to play any shows with them out there. So they fly out here to
LA.
LA.
You have details on what to expect. Do you plan on flying out anytime soon? Unless you want to get really stoned.
It's just very lonely here. Yeah. It's quiet.
It's about the same for me because, I was usually holed up in the studio anyway. So now instead of being holed up in the studio in LA, I'm holed up in the studio in Colorado. So it's about the same for me. I don't have much social life, so it's about the same for me. But poor Missy has to be out there with the public, so she had to.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's different. It's really different. It is. And it's like a cowboy palate too. I mean, as far as like a restaurants, they think, oh man, the food is so good here. And I like, what? I'm so used to all these different restaurants in LA, and you can eat at any time that you want to, all the different types of foods. And it's just very different lifestyle.
Wow.
But we've been trying to make it up by creating videos, writing more music.
Everything was pretty much shut down for 2 years anyway.
Yeah.
So we were, really adept at, John's got his recording studio. I've got my recording studio. So he's recording drums, sending me his drum tracks. I'm here laying down, the guitars and bass and vocals and keys with Missy. So we were actually extremely productive. Even though we have the distance, the way the technology is, it's not a problem at all to be super creative and really be productive.
Well, interestingly, even in the past like year or two, with us being even in separate states, and I'll give away a secret here. So even like a couple of the last music videos that we put out, we actually shot them separately in different states, but shot them green screen. So once you kind of put the video together and get the green screen to kind of match up, it sort of looks like we were at the same video shoot, but we were a couple thousand miles away from each other.
Yeah.
The beauty of technology, they can make it happen.
Yeah.
Well, like this.
Right.
Like this
Yeah.
right now.
Exactly.
You're in Chicago and
Yep.
Hello, Chicago. So
yeah. And plenty of food here that you would love, Missy. If you guys ever come to Chicago, you definitely gotta check out the food. It's just, you can't.
I love Chicago.
And I'm sure it's like LA. It's just as much. It's all flavor country.
Deep dish pizza, Gibson Steakhouse, lots of good stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. I had a band that I brought out here yesterday for a concert from New Hampshire, and all they kept saying was Chicago pizza. Chicago pizza. So I shot, being a booking agent, I manage a pizza joint. And I brought brought in 3 large deep dish pizzas with different flavors. I told the bands, enjoy. And but even though everyone else is from Chicago, they have never had Chicago pizza. So I'm like, nobody touches it until they do.
That's getting me hungry.
Nice.
So can you overnight pizza from Chicago to Colorado? I'm thinking.
If you come here, I will feed you. That's what it's
Fair enough.
what we do. So Powertribe. I know Marla's putting out a question. She's waiting. I want to ask. Powertribe, what is the story behind the name?
Oh,
well,
man,
look at us.
No, I remember when the Powertribe name came up. That was a friend of ours. We were just like brainstorming, and he was writing down just stuff, anything that come into his mind. And he said Powertribe, and I was like, that's it. Because we started out actually as an instrumental band. So we were actually more like guitar instrumental, like in the vein of a Joe Satriani or a Steve Vai. And I didn't want to call it my own name. I didn't really want that. I wanted to have a band name. And that's when we were kind of brainstorming. And he said Powertribe, and I was like, oh yeah, that's it, Powertribe. So we've just kept that name ever since. Even though we've kind of changed the sound of the band with, go ahead and bringing in the vocals with Missy and all that stuff, it's still been Powertribe the whole time.
A little faster and heavier than I think where we started, right?
Much heavier than what we were when we were the guitar instrumental band. Yeah.
So you guys have definitely progressed from the beginning to where you are today.
Definitely. Yeah, it's like, and when we were Powertribe, the instrumental band, I was, basically writing most of the music from a guitar player standpoint. And then one day I was like, geez, why am I doing instrumental music? It's got a really limited market. I've got Missy, who's an amazing singer and keyboardist. It's like, let's just expand the sound of the band. Let's start writing vocal songs. We still do like a couple instrumentals on each album, but they all kind of fit a real metal type vein. And so it just kind of evolved from all of that.
Yeah, I guess that's not very contemporary. There's not a lot of metal bands out there that put out instrumentals anymore, right? That used to be kind of a thing, right?
They're still around. It's just not that many. Not too many are doing it anymore.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, I like the name. I was like, I wonder if there's some kind of crazy story involved.
After we moved here to Colorado, because LA, it's like Powertribe. Then Colorado, they're like, oh, are you Native American? What tribe are you with? So it's like totally different thing. I'm like, no, I'm Korean and Hawaiian, and I'm not Native, And they're like, oh, because it's just kind of, we're in kind of an indigenous country here, so it's been kind of a thing where I've done shows where we have had Native Americans ask us, oh, what tribe are you from? And human tribe.
Exactly. One big human tribe. That does make sense. But I mean, the difference of lifestyle, between the country life and the city life, So
it is very different.
I can't imagine. I mean, I used to go to I was in an all-girls Catholic boarding school, believe it or not. And it was in the middle of nowhere. And I was just
oh my gosh.
Like this. I'm like, there's 900 people in the entire town. And then there was like literally about 50 miles of cornfield around them. I'm like, I don't understand. I couldn't do it. It drove me nuts, and I found out I had all kind of allergies that I didn't know existed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah, we're
Marla,
finding that out too. I just saw my friend Sandra. Mwah, love you, Sandra. Mwah.
So Marla says, question for Darren. What moved you from our little neck of the woods to across to California or LA?
You know, I was in Indiana gigging a ton, and doing really well there. But I knew Missy, and she said, "I'm going to LA. I'm going to be a rock star." And I said, "Well, if anyone that I know would become a rock star, it would be Missy. I better go out there too." So that was kind of how it went. You know, Missy was going. I was like, all right, man, let's do it. So that was it.
So where did you live? You're from the Midwest then. Where were you from?
I'm from a little town called Orleans, which is really close to where Marla lives.
Okay.
So I was right there, southern Indiana. Yeah, right where Marla is. That's where I grew up, and I lived there. Then when I got 18, I moved to Indianapolis and started playing in bands and gigging and stuff, and did some touring with cover bands for about 5 years, and then got to Indianapolis. I was in Indianapolis then, and then after the touring, just kind of kept playing around town and staying busy.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about you guys? How about you, John and Missy? Are you guys from? Are you guys from the West Coast, or did you move from some other part of the country?
I'm from Korea.
Literally.
Literally.
Okay.
I was born in Korea, and then I ended up being adopted by a family in the Midwest, Indiana. That's how I met Darren, because I was playing, and we ended up running into each other. He ended up being in a band that I was in. Great, phenomenal guitar player, and I had never really heard distortion guitar, and he was doing that distortion guitar, and I was like, wow, this is a really neat sound. I really like this. And that's how it all kind of started. He started introducing me to rock and metal, and I really, really liked it because my background is classical. So a lot of the metal material is very, it's very square. By that I mean it's lots of beats that are downbeat and so forth, and a lot of notes. So I could really relate to that, and I started to really like metal a lot more because he introduced it to me. So that's how we ended up meeting, and then ended up in LA. So that's where I'm from.
All right, cool. Nice.
And I'm originally New Jersey. So I moved out here in the 90s, and I thought I'd give LA a year or two, and I'm sort of got stuck here and never left. So, and the cool thing is, even though, Powertribe started in LA and Darren and Missy are now in Colorado, they, typically you guys, what 2-3 times a year would fly out here to LA just to play shows. So we'd play the Whiskey A Go-Go, or there's another cool club out here, the Canyon Club, and we'd open up for some cool bands. I think we would open up for, like Quiet Riot, John 5, Dokken,
Hammerfall.
Hammerfall. Yeah, some really, really fun shows.
Yeah, John 5 was our very first one where we decided we were going to be Powertribe 2.0, with the vocals and all that, right? Wasn't that the one?
I think so. It was the second time we played with John. We played with John 5 twice.
Yeah.
I think the first time we were an instrumental band, but the second time, I remember it was St. Patrick's Day. It was a crazy show. I remember that.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Go ahead. Sorry.
There was other people. Oh, that Lynch man.
We opened up for Lynch Mob.
Yeah.
The Lynch man. What?
I'm still learning, the bands and stuff.
Right. Yeah. There's so many. There's tons I still don't even know. People assume I know every band that's out. I'm like, no. Nowhere near. There's so many that are underground. People have no idea, and that's why I'm here to meet them and introduce everyone out there to bands they don't know exist. That's the whole point of it,
Way cool.
But so you got Johnny. Well, John, you're from the East Coast. You guys are from the Midwest. Well, so to speak, Missy, so to speak. How did you guys meet then? I mean, how'd that happen?
Missy and I were gigging around LA, and we had some mutual friends that John had as well, and he was playing in their band, and we had done a couple shows where our band was playing and he was playing with his other bands there, and we just kind of got to know each other through mutual friends. Then I think we had just like we had a couple shows that we didn't have a drummer, so we just asked John. It was actually like kind of supposed to be a temporary thing. Hey John, could you play drums for a few shows?
Yeah,
with
I
us?
think I was your temporary drummer for like 2 years, and then finally Missy's like, "Can we just stop calling you temporary?"
Right.
Because John, you pretty much are just getting dragged into things, and you just stuck. Just like when you went to LA, you just kind of got stuck. You helped out with drums, you just got stuck.
That's a good point.
So anything anyone asks John to do, it's just he's going to be there. He's not.
Yeah, John is the man.
He's in it. He doesn't know it yet, but he will.
Yep. John is the man.
Now, Darren, were we freaking Missy at the time
I think
when we
we-
did that? We didn't have a drummer. So what Darren and I were doing, we were a 2-piece, and I played drums and sang.
Well, you had this like standing up drum set.
Yeah,
kind
I
of thing,
had a standing up thing. Darren played guitar, and I could switch out instruments because we also had like tracks. And so we were freaking Missy at the time. And then we were like, let's have a band, like a real drummer. And he wanted to do his instrumentals, and I wanted to play bass. And I think that's the way that just kind of transpired, because we really did not.
Where was that? What was that one club, that bar that we had a residency? We were playing in there once a month.
Studio Suite.
Yeah, is that what it was?
Well,
No.
Wasn't that Studio Suite?
No, the park. Remember the
The
park
park.
in Burbank?
Oh,
Yeah.
the park. Okay.
Yeah, so we were playing there like every month.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a couple of years.
Yep.
So
That
you
was
guys
a good
start
little
out as
place.
Freak and Missy or Freakin' Missy?
Freakin' Missy. It's freak with the letter N and
Okay, because
Missy.
I'm like Freakin' Missy or Freak and Missy.
The first.
No. So it's all one word, but we did that it was only like a couple years that I think we did that. And then
Yeah.
that's when we were like, I'd really like to be in a real band, not just a 2-piece,
Right.
Relying on all the tracks and everything. Which
Yeah.
is still cool to play with tracks, but not to be your bulk of your sound.
Yeah. It was fun,
Okay,
but
I'm gonna have to ask. So, what makes you a freak?
what makes me a freak?
Yeah, like, if it's Freakin' Missy,
I think I'm kind of freaky because I'm socially awkward. I have a little bit of a wildness about me because I don't have the same type of like reactions that people are used to from people. I think it's because I wasn't born in this country. So I think that's kind of what makes me freaky. Even my responses or my reactions
So
tend
let
to
me
be a little different.
Let me interrupt. So you like stories. So Missy, tell about the story when we were or the time you were held up and your reaction when the guy tried to take what he thought was your purse.
Yeah, this guy came up to me. This was real late after a gig. And they had paid me cash, and I had like my portion of the cash. I had like a couple $100 on me. And hey, what happened?
Sorry.
He got all excited.
It's like, you got real excited about the story. Anyway, so this I lived at this location that was not a good. I don't think it was a good area of town.
It was not a good area. No.
Okay, well this guy comes up to me, and it's like 3 a.m, and I've got all these packages, and these were packages that they were mailers. I had them all prepared from the day before to send to record labels. So I'd individually written out everything and had photos and, CDs in there. And so I had all these mailers, and it was also in the car. And this guy comes up to me, and he has a gun, and he goes, which I don't see that he's got a gun. He just comes up. He goes, "Hey, can you tell me where 38th Street?" Like he says some street name, and then I said, "Oh, I think it's over." And he goes, "Give me your purse, bitch!" Like, and I went, "Pardon me?" And then he goes, "I said, give me your fucking purse." And like he starts saying all this stuff to me, and I was like, I don't carry a purse." He goes, "Bitch, I know you carry a purse." Like he's like, my car door was open, and we're trying to be quiet because it's kind of late at night and I don't want to disturb the neighbors. I mean, this is what I'm thinking.
Don't disturb the neighbors while you're getting mugged. You know, don't draw any attention.
And he goes into the side of my car and he grabs this my mailers. He goes, I got your purse now, bitch. I got your purse now. And he's like, I said, and I was not going to let him take those mailers. I worked so hard on those mailers. I said, hey, that's not my purse. That's not my purse. And he goes, what? And I said, those are just mailers. I said, I'm mailing stuff. And
a conversation with the guy who's robbing you.
So then he like looks at me and he hands me the package back. He goes, where's your purse? And I was like, I don't carry a purse. And then he goes back in the car, and I happen to have an overnight bag, and I did stick my money in there. I happen to have an overnight bag, which had like my toothbrush and all that stuff. And for like when we did shows or whatever. So he grabs my overnight thing. He's got it holding it like a football. And he's like, I got your purse now. And I thought, well, it worked once before. I said, well, that's not my purse. He's like, what? I said, that's my overnight bag. I said, that's toothpaste and toothbrush and all that. And then he looks in and he does see the money. Like he saw it. So then his eyes got really big and then he got in the car and he left. So that's, and then I went inside and I was like, Darren, and I started to think about it. I thought, well, I guess he must have needed it more than me. You know, I don't know. He got it. So that's what I'm saying. My reactions are kind of different. So maybe that's
having a conversation with the guy robbing you. It's great.
I know. And I just,
no, not that one. No, it's not that one either.
Well, I was trying to be quiet because I didn't want to disturb my neighbors, but that's what I mean. My thinking process is a little different. So I think that can make me a little freaky. You know, maybe that would be it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that.
Well, and I've done some weird
you don't
stuff.
Want the neighbors to hear. You don't want to wake them up.
Yeah,
not that bag.
And I've actually I remember in college, this girl came up to me and she just kept talking to me. And each time she talked to me, she'd take like 2 steps forward. And before I knew it, she was like this close to me. And she goes, oh my gosh.
That's like an invasion of space. Once you're close to me, I'm like, what do you want?
Well, she would talk and then she'd take 2 steps. She'd talk and take 2 steps. And she was this close. And then she goes, oh my gosh. She goes, that is so weird. I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, I'm doing this paper on space and like your personal space. And you're the only person that's never moved back. I've been trying to get you to move back and you're not moving back. And I said, I don't really care. You can just come up, you know? So those are just some of my reactions. It's a little different, I think. So I don't know.
That's a whole different level of chilled and laid back. It's wow.
a whole different level of freaky, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, well, see now I get it. I get it now. So Marla does want to. She wanted to ask you guys this. What do you got coming up for 2023? Any tours? Any shows happening?
Oh gosh, we would love that.
I guess we haven't really planned on any specific shows, but we've been doing a bunch of recording lately. We just put out a little 4-song EP earlier this year, and we've been doing some more recording. So I think right now we've just been focused on writing new material and doing some recording. So I guess we besides what we've already released in 2022, we've already recorded and mixed a few new songs too. So I think that's what. But I'm anxious to play live. We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, Miss and I were just talking about the other day. We were like 2023, come spring, fall. I mean, spring and summer. We definitely got to get back out to LA and do some big shows. So I'm sure there'll be some shows happening in 2023.
Yeah, we've just been, with the pandemic and everything, we've just been kind of holed up and just working on writing and recording and videoing. And that's been about the extent of it. But we're ready to get out, do some stuff. Like to see what's going to kind of happen as far as like the climate, what's really happening out there. I tend to like watch a lot of different types of news and different things like that. So I kind of keep my pulse on that just to make sure it's going to be okay to get out there,
Hey, I see. We got to give a shout out. I see Heinz and Tina saying hello. Tina
Oh,
saying come to
hey!
Germany.
Yes!
Yeah, let's go tour Germany. I'm down. Let's go.
Sounds good to me.
I'd love to go to Germany. Shit, just leaving Illinois would be a nice treat for me. Right. So speaking of leaving, I mean, do you guys travel outside of LA for your shows at all? Outside California in general?
We've as Powertribe. I mean, I think individually we've toured a bunch, but Powertribe, even though we've been together for years, we've never really kind of done the road thing, huh?
No, is it something you guys maybe plan on doing in the future?
That's a real possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I spent 5 years solid on the road. I never got tired of it. I would love to be back in that lifestyle again myself. So yeah,
we're getting invited to London too. All right.
Oh man,
I love London. I've been there a couple of times. I love it. I've never played there, but I love visiting there.
And we're kind of a weird.
I would love to go there.
We've actually got a whole album recorded that we've not released yet, and we started recording it right before the pandemic hit. We actually recorded the drums in LA, finished the last batch of songs of drums right before the pandemic hit. And so when the pandemic hit and we had the drums recorded, I'm like, okay, well, I'm locked away. We're doing vocals and guitars and bass and keys and all that. And once it was done, we had a guy in Denmark named Jacob Hansen. He actually mixed and mastered it, so it just sounds absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, he's worked with Arch Enemy,
Delane. He's done a lot of
Amaranth.
Amaranth,
a lot of power pop metal bands, or a lot of power metal bands, I should say. So he's actually mixed the album. It just sounds. I mean, it's like release ready, right? A record label could just pick it up and just release it as it is, because it just sounds amazing. We've kind of been setting on it, kind of shopping it to record labels, but of course during the pandemic, record labels were shut down too, and we couldn't get a hold of anybody. And just more recently, they seem like they're kind of being more active. So we're actually kind of got this recording that's shopping to labels right now, hoping really to get on a label and really kind of make a big push when that happens. So if we seem kind of reserved on what we're doing, that's kind of part of the reason. We're kind of waiting for something big to kind of happen with this recording, hopefully.
Yeah, we're actually really psyched about it. So that's something we're super proud of. So we sort of didn't want to just put it out there for the sake of putting it out, but we really wanted to have something substantial to put behind it. So, I mean, not kidding around. I mean, I think a European tour would be a great excuse to kind of get that out there and do something with it. So,
yep, absolutely.
Do you have an estimated time release on that?
We're kind of waiting on record labels, we're just hitting them up and waiting for responses, and that can take some time. So, as soon as we hook one in, we're going to be off to the races.
Yeah. Up till now, we've pretty much done everything ourselves. So everything from recording to mixing to releasing the stuff to touring to putting on shows. I mean, we are the 3-person Powertribe. This is our organization right now. So.
Right.
Hence why, John and I do recording, Missy works on videos, and we kind of share the workload, and we're really trying to get into a position where someone can really help us take it to the next level.
Right.
Yeah, I've been shopping and shopping and shopping. Literally. Well,
Target and Walmart doesn't count.
Yeah. No.
Amazon loves Missy.
Yeah. Shopping to labels, because it would be great to have that mainstream or heavier distribution factor, and I think they could launch you into a tour, that type of thing.
Right.
We could do all that. Certainly we could do all that on our own, but at the same time, we are so proud of this recording. We think that it could possibly do something, so we're kind of excited about it.
Well, I'm looking forward to when you guys release it. Definitely send me the link, give me a heads up, say here it is, don't put it out there. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely send that to you. Yeah. Actually, it's at powertribeband.com /EPK and or just actually regular /EPK. And I'll send you the password because it takes an actual passcode to enter in and that's what I'm sending to the labels, because they get a passcode to listen to the actual song. So yeah, I would love for you to hear it. And get your ears on it, see what you think. So
appreciate that. Absolutely.
And as promise we did sneak in that instrumental in there too, didn't we?
Yeah.
Hey, there's two.
There's
on
two.
there.
Oh, that's
Two
right.
instrumentals. Yeah, two instrumentals on there.
That's awesome. I definitely look forward to hearing it. Now, you did mention your EP, and I did want to talk about that. You guys got 4 songs on your EP. You just released that earlier this year, right?
Yes.
How do you? Is it? I was trying to pronounce it. I kept staring at it. I'm like, what does it say?
Circadian Musings. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Circadian Musings. Yeah.
Yeah. What does that mean? What's-
You know,
I
we
don't know.
we put a bunch of titles out there, and we all thought about it, and
Mhm.
it seemed like we all like circadian musings. Now I know that this whole circadian cycle, it's an actual cycle that is continuous. And I was thinking about it with the word musings. I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. And just the combination of the two words, we were thinking we are kind of going off that circular path. Because before we were like going linear with our whole type of, oh, let's work on this particular, record that we've got
Right.
going on. And then now we've got to kind of circle off to another location, like it's kind of an offshoot at this point to take this particular recording. And I think we're going to do another possible 4 song while we're waiting to shop, this stuff. So I was thinking of it as a kind of a, it's the circle of life. You kind of just like go around, and it's supposed to be a 10-year cycle,
Right.
but we're musing about it. We're kind of touching on it. And that's what these songs are. They're just a little bit different than our sound that we were really focusing on. It's a little bit, we're touching on a little bit of rock, a little bit of, I don't know, some power metal, that just some different things. There's even a ballad in there, like a power ballad.
Yeah.
So I think it's part of going off on the track a little bit, but yet circling back around, and we're kind of hinting at it like a muse, like musing. So that was my thinking process about it. I don't know what others were. I don't know what John was thinking or Darren was thinking. I think maybe they just liked the name. I have no idea. What were you guys thinking about it?
Again, I didn't know what it meant. I just thought, yeah, that sounds cool, man.
But it was fun for us. That's the first time we ever sort of really put out an EP, because we put out our Prepare for Battle album a few years ago. We mentioned we have this whole other album that we spent a lot of time recording and mixing, that we weren't anxious to rush out there until it was presented the right situation, right opportunity. But we also had a whole bunch of other material that we were anxious to get out there. And we're like, well, we don't need to do a whole record. So it was fun just kind of taking it. I don't know. It's like a little timestamp, these 4 songs, of just kind of like where we were at with, what we were thinking and what we were feeling. And we didn't want to, again, sit on that too. So we were anxious to share. So I think like Missy said, I think, the game plan is maybe this year put out another 4 songs. So.
Yeah. We're just kind of taking a little alleyway to take that trip around, just to,
a little detour.
Yeah, a little detour. Yeah. We put out Prepare for Battle. It was like early 2019, super late 2018, like 2018 December came out. 2019 it started to really get some legs, and then then it was like pandemic. Then it just kind of like sat there for a while, and then so we were like, let's do more recordings. Like, we need to put some more stuff out there, but yet not put our Apocalypse for Progress CD out there, which is the one that is kind of in the can still, that we're hiding.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask about that too. I was gonna get to that, but I'll stick with EP first though. So out of the 4 EPs, which one is your favorite song to play? Which one means the most to you?
Hypercritic for me, because it's like some really fast guitar riffing, and I like Hypercritic's the one for me. And it's really, even though we kind of went a little bit off the Powertribe sound, that really is a Powertribe sound. So it's Hypercritic for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I maybe agree with Darren. I think that's why we put that one first. It really kind of like, that's probably one of the faster, heavier songs we've done in a while. So that was definitely kind of, I like when things are different too. And you know, that what I thought was really cool about the little 4-song package we put out is I'm really excited that all 4 songs sound different. I'm personally one of those people that gets really frustrated when I get an album and it sounds like 9 versions of the same thing. So I dig variety. So that's one of the things I like about the little package itself. So
I like hypercritic too, because I get to say the word vitriol.
Because everybody uses that as a lyric in a rock song.
I do. I put in so many different superlatives and all these different types of words, and I try to spit it out as like heavy metal rap. You know, it's like so. I kind of like that, but yes, the ballad does let me express and say all these things. So I do like the ballad as well, but I think hypercritic is probably my favorite one at this point.
I guess the only one we've released as a video is the ballad "You Make Me Want to Live Forever," right? That's the only one we put out a video for.
Yeah, I think the next one we're gonna do is hypercritic.
I did watch that video. What was the inspiration for that?
You know, I actually wrote that one on piano and just the words came out. And what happened was Darren put his stamp on it. John put his stamp on it and made it the sound that it is. But when I was actually writing that, I was thinking about how we have a lot of people that go through things in life. You know, they get hurt. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important to be able to still trust, still have hope, still have faith. You know, I know the pandemic had a lot of people down. So I was trying to think of something that was more up and just saying, hey, you make me want to live forever. You know, you give me reason to continue. And just to think about someone or something or some situation that can be inspiring. So that was kind of like my thinking process behind it when I was actually writing it, just because everyone seems so down, you know, and I just wanted to bring people up and just say there are things that can have meaning in life. And even though you might have gotten beaten down, just get yourself back up. You know, don't let things break you. Don't let things crush you. You know, yeah, I might be a little broken, but that doesn't mean that,
we're all broken. We're all broken. It depends how you stand back up and fight.
Yeah, exactly. And that's that's why I was like, I just want something a little bit more inspirational, you know, like, because you always hear such negative stuff out there. And yes, we do our share of writing about negative things, you know, but that's just life.
Apocalypses can be positive. It all depends how you look at it.
I'm excited. If there's an apocalypse, I'm excited about it. I know that sounds really weird, but I'm looking for devastations and things like that. And I was fine with the pandemic and all that. I just get lonely. The whole world
will be coming to an end. She'll be outside with a notebook and pen writing down lyrics.
Oh, there's blood from the sky.
There's inspiration in the world falling apart. She's out there with that notebook. She's got it. You will hear that soon. Let's see. Tina says your Dio cover is just amazing. One of her favorite covers. So so Tina, do you do, I said Tina, I'm looking at her name. I'm gonna hide your name so I don't say Tina again. Missy.
Yeah.
Do you write all the music or do you guys all help out with that?
Oh, it's collaborative. It's totally collaborative. And generally we don't really have a system, but it's interesting because there is kind of a system. What happens is Darren has riffage. Like he comes up with stuff all the time, and I'll hear something and then I'll like be like, oh, I hear this melody. And I'm the one that generally writes the lyrics, but we all have a hand on stuff. Like there's been times when I'll have a melody and then John will be like, you know, I really think you need to go up here because you're like repeating yourself, or like everyone, we're kind of like very collaborative in our songwriting once we get the bones of the song. And generally that starts with Darren riffage, me coming up with some sort of melody or song impression idea, some sort of thought. And usually that's something like apocalyptic and devastating and last days and death and all that, wonderful stuff and blood and
Oh my
and
God, it's awesome.
bones and flesh and so that's the type of stuff that comes into my head that I'm fascinated with, and skulls and
I really like you, Missy.
and I love all that, and that's what comes into the writing aspect, and then we all discuss it. John comes up with his parts and I'll be like, whoa, and I'll be like hearing that part, and then that makes it might make me sing differently. So once we have the bones, then it becomes very collaborative. That's my thought process on it. I don't know what.
Well, we do it different than some other bands, because the fact that, I live in California, they live in Colorado, we're not the kind of band that sits down and jams together. So, it's usually about kind of like, again, Darren will put a skeleton of a song idea together and send me the file through the internet. And sometimes they'll even program in some basic drum beat to kind of show me what his thought process is. And like, well, that's super cool, but now I'm going to do it my way. And then I send it back to him. So we do a little bit more of the writing, at least a little bit more, again, sort of through technology and through the internet. And even when we play out some live shows, I may not have seen them in person in 4, 5, 6 months. And we show up and we're backstage. I'm like, hey, it's good to see you again. Let's go on. So we don't even rehearse together before a show, which is pretty crazy. Because some people.
And how does that work out? Does everything come out? Is you guys still killing on stage and it works out beautifully?
Totally.
Some of the coolest compliments we've ever gotten is like, oh my God, you guys sound so tight. You guys must rehearse these songs to death. And we're like, no, not together.
Right, we haven't seen each other in months. That's
yeah,
good,
we've literally tried. We've literally tried like a new song on stage together for the first time, and we'd
never played it together as a group until we were on stage.
I think we did that at the Dawkins show.
Yeah,
not like a small show.
Was the whiskey sold out.
Yeah,
and we kill it.
You said, screw it, let's try it, and you hit it.
Yep.
We kill it.
But when we were in LA, we did play a lot together.
Yeah.
So it's like we really know each other, and we have really good chemistry. And like if a part's on a recording, I know I can rely on John. I know he's not going to screw up, and he knows the same thing about me and Missy. So that's what makes that situation work. Because
we think very similarly. And,
Yeah.
Okay, so for your music creativeness, I mean, if she likes the dark side with a big old smile on her face. So I'm gonna go with that. You guys like rainbows and sunflowers. What is your inspiration for creating your music? What's your creative process like?
Man, for me, it's just put the guitar on. Something always comes out. It really is it. I've got my iPhone, a little memo recording. I've got 100 ideas of riffs that are ready to be written into songs at any time. So it just just put the guitar on, man. Something always comes out that I can be useful for me. But I love listening to bands like Arch Enemy, but I also like I'm an 80s guy, I'll go back and listen. I just got a new CD of the remastered Whitesnake 1987 album, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So there's that, and I grew up with the bands like Dawkins and Quiet Riot. So all that stuff is always floating around in my head, so it's just, music's always kind of there for me.
Nice. What about you, John?
Well, I think that's even, I'm like Darren, I think still part of that 80s metal scene still resonates with me a lot. So, but I also love new music a lot. So I think in my mind, I sort of try not to sound like bands that are on the radio right now. And it's not because I don't like it. I just don't normally play like that. Like, that's not my comfort zone. And I think that's like a newer generation, but I so appreciate it. So I like the fact that we maybe have our roots in some of the more melodic heavy metal, of even the hair bands or, from the 80s, but then trying to put that modern twist to it. So in a way, I think we're trying to, honestly, in a silly way, we are trying to create our own sound. We're not specifically trying to sound like other bands on the radio. I don't think there's, but I think we complement them well. Like when we've opened up for other bands live, and most of the, being an opening band, so many people in the audience have never heard of us before, right? But I think it goes over well. Like somehow they can kind of relate to it. Like it resonates. So we're not so weird that people don't get it, but we also don't sound like everybody else. So I think I'm always excited that we're creating that cool balance that people can hear us for the first time and still dig it. I mean, so many times you go to a concert and if you don't know any of the songs, you feel like left out, because you're like, I don't know any of this. But I think we're trying to present stuff, and I think we've tried to put together a show that's interesting enough. I mean, Missy, I'm telling you, I'm serious. There's a couple parts where she's playing keyboards and bass and singing at the same time. And I mean, how often do you see that? And then Darren,
I can't.
Now, granted, she doesn't do the whole show. I mean, there's a couple little highlight moments. And Darren, you got to see when like he flips his guitar around his body. I mean, come on, people always like cheer. So I mean, I think we try to put together a fun, show. I don't think we just sit there, but at the same time, we really try to put something behind the music too. I mean, even if it's a catchy poppy rock song, I mean, if you really dissect it, there's some cool stuff going on there that under the surface. So I guess I like all the layers that we're trying to really introduce to the stuff and trying to make something a little bit different, I guess.
No apocalypse for you guys. I love it.
I think
180.
This is what's cool about them is they're like they'll just let me talk about anything. I think they're cool about it. Here's the thing: whenever I write, it can go anywhere from me writing on the keyboard and actually the song just channels out of me. So I'll have a complete song like You Make Me Want to Live Forever. That was one that channeled completely out. Now, it didn't sound like the way it sounds as we play it as a band. Right. It sounds like me playing the piano and, it sounds kind of like a touchy-feely, I don't know. It didn't have that rock element to it. And then there's other times where I'll just hear a melody and with all the words right there, and I'll hear it and it hasn't been written yet. And I'll be like, waiting to see if Darren can come up with something. And then can I put that over that, and it will lock in. It's very interesting how we can, it's like it feels almost symbiotic.
We never seem to struggle in that songwriting process, like ever.
Yeah.
Like I think somebody always has like an answer. Like there's always some way to kind of make it fit, and no one ever says that doesn't work. I mean, we get inspired from each other, and we always find a way to kind of add to it. Like it seems like it's always building. It's so
exactly like John just sent us some drum tracks. Okay. He just sent us some drum tracks because we're working on some music licensing stuff. He sends us these drum tracks and I'm like, oh my gosh, I hear this Christmas song. And believe me, you're going to be shocked how this is going to sound. It's like, I'm going to sing Oh Holy Night and it sounds amazing over this drum track. So I think we're going to do a really good job on this next, because we like to do these Christmas songs.
Yeah, I know that you guys have a 4-song Christmas album too, right?
Yeah, heavy metal. We want to give it out free to people, and just try to spread the metal love, out there.
The holiday spirit.
Yeah. And so that's what I mean. Like he sends this, and I'm like, oh, I totally hear this over this track. Like I hear this, so we're going to put it together, and that's going to be the next song that we're going to have available by Christmas. So, but that's like an example. Like when he gave us the tracks, I was looking for a Christmas song to do, and he presents these tracks, and I'm like, I totally hear this over this. This is amazing how this is going to work out. So it's going to be cool. That's what I mean. Like it's a fine balance. It's like everything comes all together at the same time. We aren't ever hurting for writing new material. I think we have so many songs right now, and we could probably continue writing and be happy with it. I think a label would love us. I think we could come up, if they said, hey, come up with another album, or we want to sign you for a 5 record deal or whatever. I don't think we'd have a problem coming up with material because we are able to write so well together very quickly.
Good. That's a blessing. That's awesome. That works out.
Oh, it is. It is.
Okay,
It's great.
So you're gonna have Metal Christmas Part 2. I said Christmas. Christmas Part 2 is gonna be a second album.
Probably just the one song, right? Yeah, we do one song a
just
year.
the one song.
Yeah, we do one song.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm looking forward to hearing that. I'm like give or take with Christmas music. It's like I don't mind it, but you hear the same songs every year, and it's like then you hear them 30 times a day. If you go to the store, I don't even want to go Christmas shopping anymore.
Well,
you hear the same 5 songs in every store for the next 3 weeks. You know, it's that drives me nuts.
You won't hear
But
them like
other than that,
Powertribe. You won't hear them like Powertribe does them though.
Yeah.
You rock them out.
Hey, download some of those Christmas songs. They do rock. They're rocking, man.
Yeah,
they're not brutal, but they're rocking.
You need to twist up some. So we got to come up with some good songs for you to twist up the way you think. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. What would you do with that?
Oh my god!
Oh, I hear lots of double bass drums.
Oh yeah, we could do super fast
guitar harmonies for the lead.
Rudolph! I would love to hear it. That'd be some fun shit to play. That'd be funny.
We'd scare the shit out of a lot of kids.
But you know what? With what the kids are seeing today on the news, what they have access to online that we didn't, everything they're all worried about. We're having these kids think that life is great out there, but yet they have access to all this shit online that we didn't have growing up. All this stuff. It's like, dude, these kids can handle it. Trust me. They know. For the parents to think that their 10-year-old is their innocent little 10-year-old, they're not. Especially at our age, we should know better. We're all Generation X. Come on, we all know who we were growing up. Don't play coy with your stuff. Your kids know a lot more than you want to admit to.
And they look
a lot more than we did.
They look so mature and they're so tall.
Wait, where? Here they're short.
Just kids in general. Yeah, I'm 4'10", and you'll have like a 9-year-old, and they're like 4'9". They're like tall. Like everyone's. They seem so mature. Like kids today seem very mature. They can handle things, like you said.
Yeah, they don't need to be coddled. They don't need it.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with kids getting punished. I'm just saying, take their shit away from them. They'll live. Send them outside.
Oh, I love you. I love you. I think discipline is an important factor.
It is. You know what? I'm not for child abuse at all. I'm very much against it. But there's nothing wrong with parental discretion. There is a limit. There is a limit. It just depends what it is. That's the part. It just depends, but everyone has a different opinion. I don't want to get into that though, because I'm probably going to hear about that later. I grew up Italian. Need I say more? Okay. And I get this.
There's always a wooden spoon involved in there, isn't there? Wooden spoon, right?
Yeah, forget about it. So, but you guys, you did mention, where's it at? Apocalypse in Progress. What is that about?
That is our recording.
It's an 11-track album.
Yep, that's the one we're kind of sitting on right now.
Yeah, that's one of our songs that's on there, and that could be the title of the record. So we call it Apocalypse in Progress, but we're open for any title. Like if a label were to pick it up and they wanted to rename it, that's fine with us. Like, please.
Well, you're putting it on hold. So if the sky starts falling, the apocalypse has happened, and Missy will be out there writing that next song. Apocalypse waiting. I got this. So what was the inspiration for that? I mean, was it because of COVID or?
You know what? All that was written long before anything.
We did like our third drum recording session, or the final stint in the studio to record the drums when you guys were out here in California. Yep. I think literally, Darren, wasn't it you and I that night we went to go see the Queensryche show at the House of Blues?
Yep.
And I think the next day the whole world shut down. I mean, I think we must have literally, wasn't it like March 13th, 14th, 15th,
like that,
something
yeah.
like that. And then like literally you guys went home and everything shut off. So you guys finished all the guitar and vocal recording like there. So everything was written before, you know, everything shut down.
Yeah,
So
of course we didn't see it coming, you know, so it was
Yeah,
like
there was no Nostradamus thing happening. You didn't see it coming.
Oh no, you didn't see it coming. I saw it coming. I was writing about it in 2018.
She saw it. She hasn't gone in Nostradamus. See? It's not for Missy. That's what we get.
And I'm still writing about it. I do have a real, not just fascination, but I feel like not just inspiration or fascination, but also education. I really do study what's happening out there. It's not just, you know, hey, let's just drive around and have fun and, you know, like not pay attention. Like I want to pay attention to the things that's going on in the world and, you know, just kind of study, you know, study the number of earthquakes happening, study the number of EMPs that's happening with the sun, study the number of, you know, wars that are out there that are being talked about, you know. So I am kind of, you know, in that whole thing. And viruses is one of those things that I knew were coming around, and I'm still a little hesitant about next year. I think there might be some other stuff coming at us. So I want to be out there doing stuff. I want to be out there socializing. I mean, I talk all the time because I have no people to talk to. So I'm like talking to you guys all the time. So I want to be out there, you know, and doing things. But at the same time, I do have a little bit of a hesitancy. I'm just kind of watching and seeing what's going to happen. And that's just because I study that stuff a lot, you know. So, yeah, I was writing about it. Apocalypse in Progress, I think that was something I wrote in maybe 2018, something like that.
It was in progress. You got that right.
It's still in progress, Fran. It's still in progress. It is. And I'm fine with that. I mean, I don't think about that in a fearful way. I think about, you know, just prepare yourself, you know, don't get caught by surprise. I think it's important that you are aware that things can happen. So live your life, do your thing, but at the same time, be aware of what's happening out there and, you know, be prepared.
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah, exactly. Try to do your best, you know.
Exactly.
That's all you can do.
Really can do, you know, until it happens. Just keep living life, you know. Don't live in fear. Just move forward and keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes wide open.
Yeah,
definitely.
So what else you guys got coming up? You got any shows coming up? I mean, I know you said you're doing some recordings and everything right now. Are you gonna lay low for the season besides the one Christmas song, or you guys got anything planned?
Yeah, I think 2023 is definitely going to be some live shows. Yeah, for sure. I personally miss that a lot. I mean,
I do too.
It's such a cool thing. I mean, my favorite thing about playing live too, you know, is sharing music. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of just sitting at home listening to music by myself. I love playing on stage. And if the crowd starts to respond from a little bit, you start feeding off their energy, and that gets me more inspired. And I love that whole. I love playing on stage with Darren and Missy and us being together. We glance at each other all the time, and we seriously have like fun up there. And then when the crowd gets into it too, there's nothing about like live music. And I feel bad for some people in this newer generation that just understand the world of listening to DJs, because there's something about the magic of happening when music is live. So that's still something I just don't want to give up on. So I'm very anxious to get back on stage again. So the sooner the better, as far as I'm concerned. And I heard we're playing where are we playing? We're going to Germany and London. I heard, right? Wasn't that recently discovered the show? So let's get my passport in order. Let's go.
I think Missy booked the tour while we were talking.
Done.
Yeah.
Right? It was happening. It was already happening. You didn't even know it. You got to keep your eyes open. You got to watch this.
We're also going to Finland.
Oh yeah, nice.
Finland too.
I've never been there.
Tina, you are welcome, sweetheart. All All right, guys. Well, you guys, this has been a really fun interview. You guys are a lot of fun. Missy,
You are awesome.
When I mean trip in Chicago, that means you're a lot of fun. You definitely.
Oh,
Me.
it's such a pleasure to meet you and to see you. You're beautiful. Thank you so much for having us. I mean, and supporting metal.
Absolutely.
We appreciate that. I mean, dude, we really appreciate that. We need more people just supporting this style of music because it has depth.
Never died. It's just the people that walked away. That was their own choice. It never died, though. So do you guys have any platforms that fans can look you up on or find your merch on? Anywhere they can go?
I know. Where are we not? Are we not any place? I think we're everywhere, aren't we?
That's a
I
fair
think we're
question.
yeah. I think we're on everything.
Spotify,
They just have to look up.
YouTube, sure.
Yeah.
Powertribeband.com is good because there's should be links to everything at powertribeband.com, and then we've got merchandise up there as well, I believe.
And Tina, I agree with you. We need more friends.
Yes, we do need more friends. Thank you.
I always tell people I could be your best friend. I could be your girlfriend. like, what's wrong with you? Everything. But just enjoy yourself. Cool. You guys, it's been a lot of fun. Definitely looking forward to checking out your music coming up. Want to hear the Christmas song, and I will definitely check out the link, Missy, when you send me that.
Yeah, I'll send that to you. And it's such a pleasure to literally, face to face.
Yes.
Maybe I hope I get to meet you in person.
Yeah, I have plans to go into Colorado one day. I don't know if I'll make it out. But I might get lost in the wilderness and stone stupid. Who knows?
All I know is as soon as we're done here, I'm going to get a deep dish pizza. That's all I figured out here. So
it's not going to be the same as Chicago. You got to come here. You guys got to come. You guys come to the Midwest. I'll take care of you. I'll feed you. I'll book you.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I'm that kind of agent.
And I think
yourself an Italian booking agent. Okay.
And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to eat at the best Chinese restaurant here in town, which is the freezer section, and it's called Banquet, and it's orange chicken Banquet.
I love orange chicken, for the record. One of my favorites. Absolutely love it. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much, you guys, for everything. And
thanks.
Definitely we'll be talking to you guys soon.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you, friend.
Right on. See you. Bye-bye.
Man, love and respect, guys.
Bye.